Hi guys and welcome to another video. This one is the very first Patreon's Choice video. Of course, I need to say a huge thank you to all these awesome people that are supporting the channel. If you guys would like to do the same, you'll find a link down below in the description. Also, the dislike army, get activated because you're not gonna like this one. Everything has something negative in it. Over the entire month of December, all my Patreons were able to vote on the January's pick, and the video that won the voting is my top 10 acts that were disappointing live. Now, because the acts are disappointing and not necessarily bad, so you will not see acts, for example, like Manel, which probably everyone would expect to be on a list of like flops on stage, and that's because I never really had high hopes for it anyway. But also keep in mind, in order to get on this list, it means that I did like them at some point, or I liked something about them. And in the end, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And on number 10, I have Israel 2010. Now, if you guys remember this from my previous videos, I made like a full series where I just made my top 20 favorite songs of all time in Eurovision. Milim was and still is my favorite song. I really like everything about it, including the voice. But also, as you probably very well know, Harel made a big boo-boo in the final on one specific note, not any note, it was the note. That was the moment, it was the climax of the song. I was like, yeah, everything is so beautiful, and then it wasn't anymore. That mistake like broke my soul, like I actually felt pain in my stomach. For some reason in 2010, he was my winner, he was the option, he was the one that I wanted to be like the Eurovision face. Unfortunately, after that performance, I knew he was not going to win. I did not expect him to be that low though. But we're not talking about rankings here, we are just talking about what I thought would do well and it did not. For that reason, Israel 2010 is on my 10th spot as a disappointing act in Eurovision. And we move closer to our time, and on the 9th spot I have Ireland 2019. I know that this wasn't for many people like a huge favorite or anything, but I do specifically remember when I first listened to the song, I loved it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was different. I thought it was so nice to have something like this on stage on Eurovision. And even the whole season pre-Eurovision, I listened to the song. It was one of my most listened songs. But then the live performance happened, and that was disappointing. First of all, from the very beginning, she sounded like she just came and started singing after jogging. It was a very loud echo also on her voice. It sounded like she was singing inside of a glass jar. And on the other hand, the thing that I liked the most about the song totally missed in the live performance, and that was the excitement. In the studio version, everything has life. Everything is so much more interesting. And the live performance was not. She seemed bored the entire time. The choreography was poor. When she was moving, she was like very stiff. The vocals were not the best because of that specific reason. She just seemed extremely bored. She relied a lot on the backing vocalist and they weren't doing such a great job themselves. I have to say I did like the graphics a lot. But in the end, this was one of my two dark horses in 2019. And during the live performance, I realized that this horse is going to die. And if you're having higher hopes for my other dark horse, don't, he's dead too. He's on this list. And we move on the 8th place, and we're going back to 2017, and is Italy. Now, if you all remember, in the pre-Eurovision season, this song got a lot of hype. And I really think the hype was worth it. It was a very good video, everything was very colorful and exciting, and it seemed to be a lot of fun. The guy seemed really fun. But then the stage was dark and empty and just sad. That very cool choreography from the video in the live performance seemed more like a drunk guy on the streets of Bucharest in the middle of the night. The main thing of the whole act was the gorilla. And the gorilla came out and it was black. And guess what? When your stage is also black, it has zero impact on the audience. That gorilla was just like in the shadows. I cannot say I did not like the vocals, but again, like with Ireland, the excitement was missing. The backing vocalists were very, very weak. And let's just say, overall, the main issue with the whole act was the right energy was missing. Next on the list, I have Armenia 2014. Some of you might actually be surprised to see this act on a disappointing list, but it really was for me, and that's because the studio version with the video gave me a totally different feeling about the song. And I will give you this before I say what I think went wrong. The end part of the song is really good. The live performance is really, really good. The whole issue is what happens with it before the power mode. Live on stage, the voice was very shaky. The soft parts of the song were absolutely not under control. And honestly, just sounded very weird and strange. I mean, I think I heard more nerves in the voice than I actually heard emotion. Also, he seemed to be one of those artists that was just waiting for the second half of the song where everything picks up. But the beginning of the song that was quite poorly performed got stuck to my mind. At that point, I knew this will not be my favorite song anymore. And also, if you remember, this song is on my list of my favorite songs all time, but not the live performance. Number 6 on my list is Azerbaijan 2015. Just like two of the other songs, this is also one of my favorite songs all time in Eurovision. But however much I love the song, the live performance was nothing like the studio version. I love the dancers, I think the choreography was very interesting, it really makes you watch, like definitely it doesn't seem boring. But the whole act, I just felt like there is like that weird guy on the stage that is kind of interfering with the dancers. And when that guy is the actual singer, you have an issue with the act. And also, by the way, someone should take care of all those flies that are on the stage in Eurovision. The way he was dressed also had nothing to do with the story that they were trying to tell. He just seemed like someone from the audience got lost and went on stage. I have to say the vocals did not sound quite the way the studio version did. I know it's really bad to like compare with studios all the time, but I mean, if this is what you promote as your song in Eurovision, you have to expect that people want that to be heard live too. On the 5th place, I have again Israel 2019. And yes, Israel is one of the two countries that managed to appear twice on this list. If you guys have watched my first reaction to the Israeli song from 2019, you would know how much I loved it. The cool piano, the voice was very strong, the video was quite creative. I really enjoyed every single thing about it. I even went as far to say they actually have a chance to win twice in a row. Stupid me. When the live performance started, I didn't even know if it's the same song or not. I know this is this huge thing when everyone is just trying to revamp stuff to make them more interesting. You did not have to do this with a song. The live version was so bland and poorly acted. For some reason they felt the need to introduce all these new instruments in the song. It just ruined everything. They were absolutely useless.
Counting down the minutes from the ticking clock.
And also the ugly crying in the end. I'm sorry, I would have almost bought it if I didn't see the rehearsals, knowing that he was crying every single time in the rehearsals. And you could argue that maybe he just really got that emotional every single time at the end of the act. And I would tell you, you will not start crying in the exact same moment, in the exact same spot, looking into the camera exactly the same way. And also, to make it awkward, that very last note is not what you're expecting if you've listened to the studio version, which the end of the song is really cool and smooth and nice and like emotional. In the live performance, everything just went off the grid. On the 4th place, I have Estonia 2011. The thing with this act is that I really like the concept. I like the colors, I liked what they tried to do on stage. I kind of like the choreography too, even though I saw like a lot of criticism because the guys were more like high school dancers. I did not mind that, I actually liked it even more because of it. But the vocals were so weak and powerless. The lead voice was just as loud as the backing singers, and that's never a good sign. Overall, I was expecting the sound to be a bit more full. Everything sounds like it's somewhere in the background, including the music. And that does not match the energy that they're trying to put on the stage. In the end, I can just say that my expectations for the song were absolutely not met during the live performance. On the 3rd place, I have Sweden 2016. Watching the promo video of the song, I really thought this might be like something fresh in Eurovision. I thought it's gonna be a story about this young love and the problems and how the young people try to get over all these issues. I really thought a story could be put on stage. Also because I thought this song is a little bit more lighter and softer, it will come in contrast with everything that happened in 2016, all the songs. I thought this would just be so different and it will be so good. But all the cuteness in the world and long hair and whatever else the guy had to be so appealing could not save the vocals and the way the song sounded overall. The whole thing was so freaking boring. He seemed extremely nervous even while looking into the camera, but then again I looked closer and I think what the problem was. The poor guy really needed to pee. And also, what's up with all those cuts in the beginning of the song that's like love wave?
It's me. Look, I know it might sound strange, but stop young at the same I used to be.
On the 2nd place, I have Azerbaijan 2010. So for 2010, I really thought this was a very clear winner. Everyone thought this is so popular, so radio friendly, everything sounds so cool, And for 2010, it really was. I even think I heard some news at some point that Beyonce's choreographer is gonna make the dance routine, and I thought, oh my god, this is gonna be like the best thing ever. And then, just like with the others, the live performance happened. All the emotion and everything that you hear in the studio version just becomes this robotic voice. And I have to say, it was quite a screechy robot. She missed a lot of the notes. She felt like she was tired even before starting the performance.
You are my man, you are my hand. Tell me what's happening.
And on top of it, the entire dance routine that she did was walk downstairs, stand for a while, jog for 5 seconds, then kneel and flip her hair. And that was the choreography. And also we have the dress that I really think for a lot of people, especially if you watched it back then, was like an iconic dress. Let's be honest, it's just a blue Christmas tree. And we were down to my first place. This was the most disappointing act I watched in Eurovision for me at this point. And it was one of my dark horses, my second dark horse from 2019, Belgium. First of all, I have to say, I did not mind all that much the costumes and the drummers and whatever the people are complaining about. I quite liked it, and I kind of think I know what they've tried to do with all that. But oh my god, the voice on the chorus was so bad. It was weak, strange, he seemed extremely nervous. I just think this was a very powerful message that was delivered in a very poor way. I do actually feel bad for him because you could see it in his eyes. He knew this was not going well. He just had to keep going through with it and just wait for the sweet end. It was just heartbreaking. And this was my top of the most disappointing live performances for me. Do you guys have any performances that you thought were really disappointing live? If yes, which ones? Also, to my Patreon, starting today, you can start voting on the new video for February. Also, if you guys have suggestions for videos, please let me know down below in the comments. Please stay safe, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a future video. Bye!